You don't step into a new year by accident. You step into it by decision. I know how it feels to stand at the edge of a new year with hope in one hand and fear in the other. You've dreamed big before. You've promised yourself change before, and maybe life interrupted. But hear me clearly. This moment is not judging you. This moment is inviting you. 2026 isn't asking who you were, it's asking who you're willing to become. Take a breath. Let your shoulders drop. You're not behind. You're exactly where the next chapter begins. Before you write a single goal down, before you build a vision board, or promise yourself that this year will be different, you have to pause and ask one question that most people avoid their entire lives. What do I truly want? Not what sounds impressive, not what gets applause, not what keeps the peace. The real answer, the one you whisper to yourself late at night when no one is watching and there's nothing to prove. Clarity doesn't arrive quietly. It arrives like a mirror. And mirrors can be uncomfortable. Because when you finally see yourself clearly, you also see the excuses, the compromises, the places where you settled, because it felt safer than standing alone in your truth. But clarity is not meant to shame you. It's meant to free you. For a long time, I believed that being busy meant being purposeful. That if I kept moving, I didn't have to ask hard questions. But motion without direction is just exhaustion dressed up as ambition. You can work endlessly and still feel lost. You can achieve a lot and still feel empty. That's what happens when your goals are borrowed instead of chosen. Clarity is courage, because once you name what you want, you can't pretend anymore. You can't say, I didn't know. You can't blame timing, people, or circumstances the same way. When you say the dream out loud, even if only to yourself, you accept responsibility for honoring it. And that is terrifying, but it is also powerful. Being clear doesn't mean you have everything figured out. It means you know what matters. It means you understand what you're willing to sacrifice for and what you're no longer willing to bleed for. It means you stop chasing 10 things halfway and decide to walk toward one thing fully. There will be voices that get louder the moment you gain clarity. Doubt will ask if you're capable. Fear will ask if you're too late. The world will ask why you can't just be satisfied with what you already have. But clarity teaches you something important. Not every voice deserves a vote, especially the ones that have never lived your life. When you are unclear, distractions feel exciting. When you are clear, distractions feel heavy. That's how you know the difference. Clarity sharpens your instincts. It teaches you to say no without guilt and yes without hesitation. It helps you protect your energy because you finally understand its value. And here's the truth most people won't tell you. Clarity will change your relationships. Some people will feel uncomfortable when you stop shrinking. Some will question you when you stop explaining. That doesn't mean you're wrong, it means you're growing. Growth has a way of revealing who is benefiting from your confusion. Clarity is also deeply spiritual. It's an act of alignment. It's saying, I trust that the desires placed in my heart are not accidents. When you listen honestly, you begin to see patterns. The same dreams returning, the same restlessness when you ignore them. That's not dissatisfaction. That's direction knocking. You don't need permission to want more depth, more purpose, more meaning. Wanting more does not mean you're ungrateful. It means you're aware. Gratitude and ambition can coexist when they come from the right place. One honors where you are, the other calls you forward. So as you think about 2026, don't rush to the finish line. Sit with yourself, ask better questions, be brave enough to hear the answers. Write them down, speak them softly if you have to, but don't run from them. Because the moment you gain clarity, something shifts. Your walk changes, your choices change, your patience changes. You stop begging life to happen and start meeting it with intention. Clarity is not loud, it is steady. And once you have it, everything else begins to fall into place. Not because life gets easier, but because you become stronger. This is where real goal setting begins. Not with a list, but with truth. There comes a moment after clarity where inspiration starts to fade. The excitement quiets down. The vision is still there, but the adrenaline is gone. And this is where most people stop. Not because they don't want the dream badly enough, but because they misunderstand what comes next. What comes next is discipline. Discipline is not glamorous. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't trend. It doesn't care how you feel that morning. Discipline is quiet devotion. It's the choice you make when no one is watching and no one is rewarding you yet. For a long time, I thought discipline was about being hard on myself, about force, about control. But I learned something deeper. Discipline is actually self-respect in motion. It's saying, I trust myself enough to keep my word, even when it's uncomfortable. Motivation will come and go like weather. Some days you'll feel unstoppable. Other days you'll question everything. Discipline is what carries you through both. It's not driven by emotion, it's driven by identity. You do the work because of who you've decided to be. Most people wait to feel ready. They wait for confidence, they wait for the perfect moment. Discipline doesn't wait. Discipline creates readiness. It builds confidence brick by brick through repetition, through showing up tired, through choosing consistency over intensity. There were days in my life when the dream felt very far away, when progress was invisible, when effort felt unreturned. And on those days, discipline whispered something simple: just do today. Not the whole year, not the entire journey, just today. That's the power of discipline. It breaks big dreams into small promises, and small promises kept daily turn into extraordinary lives. Discipline also teaches you boundaries. You start to protect your time differently. You stop negotiating with distractions. You begin to understand that every yes costs you something and every no is an investment. Not everyone will understand this version of you, the one who leaves early, who says no, who chooses rest over chaos, growth over approval. But discipline is not about being liked, it's about being aligned. And let me be honest, discipline will test you. It will expose your excuses. It will ask you to confront habits that comfort you but don't serve you. It will require sacrifice, late nights, early mornings, saying no to ease so you can say yes to evolution. But discipline also gives back, quietly, gradually. It builds trust within yourself. And self-trust is a rare kind of confidence. When you know you'll show up for yourself, fear loses its grip. Doubt gets quieter. You stop needing external validation because you've become reliable to your own soul. Discipline doesn't mean rigidity. It means devotion. It means choosing what matters again and again, even when it's boring, especially when it's boring. Because boredom is often the doorway to mastery. And here's something important. Discipline and grace must walk together. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to stumble. Discipline is not punishment for being human. It's commitment to becoming more of who you are meant to be. When you fall, discipline helps you stand again without shame, without drama, without quitting. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, something sacred happens. You strengthen the relationship you have with you, and that relationship shapes every other one in your life. So as you move toward your goals, stop asking, do I feel like it? Start asking, who am I becoming? Because discipline is not about doing more, it's about honoring yourself enough to do what matters consistently. And when you do that long enough, the results will speak louder than motivation ever could. There is a quiet space between effort and outcome. A space where you've done the work, shown up, stayed consistent, and still don't see the results you prayed for. This is where faith is tested. Not in the waiting itself, but in what you do while you wait. Faith is often misunderstood as patience without movement. But real faith is active. It breathes through action. It looks like I'm continuing to walk even when the road ahead is foggy. It's trusting that every step matters, even if you can't yet see where it leads. I've had seasons where I did everything right, at least by my own standards, and still nothing seemed to open. No doors, no applause, no visible progress. And in those moments, I learned that faith isn't about certainty, it's about commitment. It's about showing up without guarantees. Faith asks you to plant seeds in soil you can't inspect, to water dream you might not harvest immediately. To believe that delay is not denial, it's development. When you set goals rooted in faith, you understand that timing is not yours to control. And that can feel deeply uncomfortable, especially in a world that celebrates instant results. But faith teaches you humility. It reminds you that some things need silence to grow. Some blessings need time to ripen. Working while you wait changes you. It builds resilience. It deepens character. It purifies intention. Because when you're moving without applause, you discover why you're really doing it. Not for validation, not for recognition, but because it aligns with who you are called to be. Faith doesn't mean ignoring fear. It means walking with it. Fear will always ask, what if it doesn't work? Faith gently answers, what if it does, and I wasn't brave enough to try? And sometimes faith looks like continuing, even when people misunderstand your path, when they question your patience, when they mistake your quiet consistency for lack of ambition. But you know something they don't? You are building roots, not just results. Faith also invites surrender. Not giving up, but letting go of control. You do your part with excellence, and then you release the outcome. You stop forcing timelines. You stop comparing journeys. You trust that what is meant for you will find you when you are ready to hold it. There is strength in surrender. It keeps your heart soft in a hard world. It allows you to remain grateful even when the picture isn't complete. It teaches you to find peace in progress, not just in arrival. Some of the most important growth happens in the unseen chapters. The chapters where you feel ordinary, where nothing feels extraordinary except your commitment to keep going. Those chapters are shaping your capacity, preparing you for what you asked for. When faith and discipline work together, something powerful happens. You stop rushing life. You stop demanding proof at every turn. You begin to trust the process and yourself within it. And one day, often quietly, things shift. A door opens, a moment arrives. And you realize the wait didn't weaken you. It strengthened you. It taught you patience. It taught you trust. It taught you who you are when no one is clapping. So keep working, keep believing, keep walking. Faith is not passive hope. It is an active trust. And when you move with faith, nothing is ever wasted. Not even the waiting. Growth will not only ask you to become more, it will ask you to release. And this is often the hardest part of any journey, because letting go feels like loss before it feels like freedom. We hold on to old versions of ourselves because they are familiar, even when they limit us, even when they no longer fit. Familiar pain can feel safer than unfamiliar possibility. But every new season comes with a quiet question. Are you willing to loosen your grip? I've learned that we don't resist change because we are weak. We resist it because we remember who we were when those habits, beliefs, and relationships first protected us. They once served a purpose. They helped us survive. But survival and growth are not the same thing. Letting go doesn't mean erasing your past. It means honoring it without letting it decide your future. It means saying, thank you for getting me here, but you can't come with me. There are habits we cling to because they soothe us. Scrolling instead of sitting with our thoughts, busyness instead of boundaries, comfort instead of courage. These habits whisper relief, but they quietly steal time. And time is the most honest currency of growth. Where you spend it is where your life goes. Letting go will challenge your identity. People are used to a certain version of you, the accommodating one, the agreeable one, the one who says yes even when it hurts. When you begin to grow, they may not recognize you. Some will celebrate you, some will resist you. Both responses require strength. You may feel guilt when you start choosing differently, when you stop explaining, when you stop overgiving. But guilt is often a sign that you are breaking patterns, not principles. Growth asks you to learn the difference. And sometimes letting go means grieving. Grieving who you thought you would be by now. Grieving relationships that couldn't grow with you. Grieving dreams that evolved into something else. Grief doesn't mean failure. It means you cared deeply. Letting go also means releasing timelines, releasing comparisons, releasing the pressure to be on track. Life does not unfold in straight lines. It unfolds in lessons. And some lessons take longer because they are shaping your depth, not just your destination. There is a quiet strength that comes from release. When you stop carrying what no longer belongs to you, your energy returns. Your focus sharpens. Your spirit feels lighter. You begin to move with intention instead of resistance. Growth will ask you to trust yourself enough to step into the unknown, to believe that what's ahead is worth the discomfort of change, to understand that not everything you leave behind was meant to last forever. Letting go is an act of faith, faith that you are not abandoning yourself, you are choosing yourself. Faith that emptiness is not absence, but space. Space for new habits, new connections, new clarity. And when you finally release what has been weighing you down, you realize something beautiful. You didn't lose anything essential. You made room for it to grow. The version of you that is coming needs freedom, not baggage. And freedom begins the moment you decide to loosen your grip and move forward, lighter, wiser, and unafraid. There comes a point in every journey where success stops feeling satisfying if it's only about you. You can reach milestones, collect achievements, even hear applause, and still feel a quiet emptiness inside. That's when life gently reminds you of something deeper. Success without service is incomplete. I learned this not in moments of victory, but in moments of connection. In conversations where someone told me, "Because you spoke up, I felt seen." In quiet realizations that my growth meant more when it made space for others to grow too. That's when success stopped being a destination and became a responsibility. When your goals are rooted only in ego, they exhaust you. You're always chasing the next validation, the next title, the next win. But when your goals are rooted in service, they energize you. Because even on hard days, you know why you're doing the work. You know someone benefits from your courage to keep going. Service doesn't always mean something grand or public. It often shows up in small, intentional choices. Choosing integrity when shortcuts are tempting. Choosing kindness when competition feels easier. Choosing to mentor instead of compare. To uplift instead of undermine. When you tie your growth to service, your purpose becomes bigger than your fear. You stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "Who might I help if I try?" That shift changes everything. Fear shrinks when purpose expands. Service also keeps you grounded. It reminds you that no success is built alone, that every opportunity is connected to someone else's effort, belief, or generosity. Gratitude deepens when you realize your wins are woven into a larger story. And here's the beautiful truth. Service doesn't slow your success. It refines it. It sharpens your character. It teaches humility. It gives your ambition a conscience. You stop climbing over people and start building ladders others can use too. There's a difference between being admired and being impactful. Admiration fades, impact echoes. Long after titles are forgotten, the way you made people feel remains. The way you showed up, the way you gave back, the way you used your voice, your time, your platform, no matter how small, with intention. Service also protects you from emptiness at the top, because when you arrive, you're not alone, you've brought others with you. And that kind of success feels fuller, richer, more honest. You don't have to wait until you make it to serve. Serve while you're becoming. Serve while you're learning. Serve while you're still figuring it out. In fact, that's when service matters most, because it keeps your heart open and your perspective wide. Ask yourself as you set goals for this new season, who does my growth make life easier for? Who benefits from my discipline, my faith, my consistency? How can I leave rooms better than I found them? When your goals are aligned with service, setbacks don't break you. Because even when progress feels slow, you know your effort still matters. You're contributing to something larger than immediate results. Service transforms ambition into meaning. It turns success into significance. It reminds you that your life is not just about what you achieve, but about what you give. And when you move through the world with that understanding, something shifts. You walk taller, not out of pride, but out of purpose. You work harder, not out of fear, but out of love. Because the most powerful goals are not the ones that only change your life. They are the ones that quietly change the lives of others along the way. There is a myth we're taught early, that confidence comes first and action follows. That once you feel ready, fearless and sure of yourself, then you begin. But life doesn't actually work that way. Confidence is not the starting line, it's the reward for showing up consistently when you don't feel it yet. I didn't wake up one day suddenly certain of who I was or what I could handle. That certainty was built slowly, quietly, through repetition, through doing the work even when my voice shook, especially when my voice shook. Consistency is the most underrated form of courage. It doesn't rely on mood or applause, it relies on commitment. It's a decision to keep going, even when your mind tells you you're not good enough yet, not ready yet, not confident enough yet. The truth is, if you wait for confidence, you will wait forever. Confidence grows after action, not before it. It's built when you keep promises to yourself, when you show up on days you could easily disappear, when you do the uncomfortable thing again and again until discomfort loses its power. There were moments when I doubted my place in rooms I had worked hard to enter, moments when I felt smaller than the expectations around me. But consistency taught me something powerful. You don't need to feel like you belong to act like you do. You belong because you showed up, because you stayed, because you kept going. Consistency also quiets comparison. When you're focused on showing up daily, you don't have time to measure your journey against someone else's. You understand that everyone is running a different race, carrying different weights, starting from different lines. Your only responsibility is to honor your pace. It's easy to be confident on good days. It's easy when results are visible and encouragement is loud. But consistency shows its true strength on ordinary days, on boring days, on days when progress feels invisible. Those are the days that shape you. Small actions repeated daily create an identity. You stop saying, "I'm trying," and start saying, "This is who I am." You become someone who shows up, someone who follows through, someone who doesn't quit when the excitement fades. And here's what consistency gives you that confidence alone never can: resilience. When setbacks come, and they will, you don't crumble. You adjust. You return to the routine. You trust the process because you've seen it work before. Consistency also teaches patience. It reminds you that mastery takes time, that depth cannot be rushed, that lasting success is built quietly away from the spotlight, brick by brick, day by day. Some days consistency will feel unremarkable, almost too simple to matter. But those simple days are doing more than you realize. They are training your mind, strengthening your discipline, building a foundation strong enough to hold what you're asking for. You don't need to be fearless to move forward. You need to be faithful to the process. Show up scared, show up uncertain, show up imperfect. Just show up, because one day, without noticing the exact moment it happened, you will look back and realize something extraordinary. You didn't wait for confidence to arrive. You built it through consistency, through courage in small doses, through choosing progress over perfection. And that kind of confidence, the one earned through commitment, cannot be taken away. As you move forward, chasing growth, building discipline, showing up with consistency, there is one thing that must anchor you, or success will quietly harden your heart. And that is gratitude. Gratitude is not a pause in ambition, it is the ground beneath it. I've learned that when you forget gratitude, even the most beautiful dreams start to feel heavy. You reach milestones and immediately raise the bar again, never allowing yourself to feel the joy of how far you've come. You live in a constant state of not enough success, not enough progress, not enough recognition. And without realizing it, you turn life into a race you can never win. Gratitude interrupts that cycle. It reminds you that you are not starting from nothing, that you are already standing on answered prayers, even if they don't look the way you once imagined. It teaches you to honor the journey, not just the destination. There were moments in my life when I was so focused on where I was going that I failed to see what was already working. The strength I had built, the resilience I had earned, the people who had supported me quietly, without conditions. Gratitude opened my eyes to the truth. Progress doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it whispers. Gratitude keeps you humble as you rise. It reminds you that your talent is a gift, not a guarantee. That opportunities are not owed, they are entrusted. And when you treat them that way, you show up differently. You work harder, but with grace. You lead stronger, but with compassion. Being grateful doesn't mean ignoring your hunger for more. It means refusing to let that hunger turn into bitterness. Gratitude and ambition can walk together when your heart is grounded. One keeps you striving, the other keeps you sane. Gratitude also protects your peace. In a world that constantly tells you to compare, to rush, to measure your worth by speed and scale, gratitude brings you back to yourself. It says, this moment matters too. It teaches you to breathe inside your own life instead of constantly reaching for the next one. And here's something powerful. Gratitude changes how you experience setbacks. When you're grateful, failure doesn't define you. It teaches you. Delays don't feel like rejection, they feel like redirection. Even pain begins to carry meaning because you trust that nothing is wasted. Gratitude trains your mind to look for lessons instead of losses, strength instead of scars, growth instead of gaps. It also deepens your faith. When you acknowledge what has already been carried for you, you trust more easily with what lies ahead. You stop gripping so tightly. You stop forcing timelines. You begin to believe that what is meant for you will arrive at the right time, not a rushed one. Gratitude doesn't ask you to be cheerful all the time. It allows room for sadness, exhaustion, and uncertainty. But it gently reminds you that even in those moments, you are not empty. You are becoming. Make it a habit to pause, to say thank you, not just for wins but for lessons, not just for ease but for endurance. not just for arrival, but for the road that shaped you. When gratitude becomes part of your daily rhythm, something beautiful happens. You stop feeling like life is constantly testing you. You start feeling like it's teaching you. And that shift changes everything. As you step into this new season, let gratitude be your anchor. Let it steady you when ambition pulls too hard. Let it soften you when success tries to harden you. Let it remind you that you are already held, already guided, already growing. Because a grateful heart doesn't slow your rise. It makes sure that when you rise, you remain whole. And as you step forward into this new season, remember this one truth and carry it with you wherever you go. Your life is not unfolding by accident. Every lesson, every delay, every quiet victory is shaping you for a purpose greater than you can see right now. Do your part with discipline. Walk your path with faith. Serve with humility. Rest in gratitude. You don't need to have it all figured out to move forward. You just need the courage to take the next right step. Trust that what is meant for you will not miss you. Trust that the work you do in silence is being seen. Trust that when you show up with integrity, effort, and belief, life meets you halfway. So go set the goals, honor the process, and become the person your future is waiting for. Because when faith leads and effort follows, everything you are working toward finds its way home.